Thompson and St. Cor side by side. Racing it out. Who has the faster car to finish this thing? St. Cor is going to bring it home in first. What a race at the end of that thing. Caution, caution, caution. Come around the corner. Jamie Horn is going to be your winner here at the Mars Properties 200. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Doghouse Racing TV. Welcome back to the Group 6 Cup Series, and welcome to Richmond Raceway for our running of the Group 6 Cup Series. Live tonight here from Richmond Raceway. Going to be doing 112 miles, 150 very exciting laps here from Richmond tonight. We are excited to be up here in the broadcast booth with you for tonight's race. As always, my name is Hunter Foley, up here in the broadcast booth with my partner Jonathan Smith here, and we are going to be getting you right over to the racing action here in just a second. About 6 minutes left of practice before we get on to qualifying here tonight. But before we do, want to make sure that we shout out the sponsor that keeps this whole thing moving up here. As mentioned before, this is the Group 6 Cup Series, and they are also our sponsor for the race tonight, so thank you to them for stepping up and making sure this league stays running, keeps these drivers out on the track, and keeps us up in the booth for this year. Group 6 is a leading creative agency, and they are passionate about crafting cutting-edge websites, developing dynamic web solutions, and providing top-tier managed hosting services. Their mission is to help businesses of all sizes enhance their online presence. Explore their wide range of services at group6inc.com. That's GROUP, the number 6, INC.com. And see how they can drive your digital success. Special thanks once again to Group 6 for being our series sponsor this year. And if you or someone you know is interested in sponsoring one of these races, we would love to be the ones to give you or your business a wonderful, fantastic, high-quality, professional ad read up here in the booth. Be sure to reach out to either myself or John or one of the admins of the league if you would like to put your name down to sponsor one of these races. I know that everyone in the league would appreciate it very, very much. Just like we appreciate all of you out there in the stream. I think we got 7 people out there right now. Thank you, as always, for choosing to spend some of your Thursday night here with us live on Doghouse Racing TV. Be sure that you leave a like on the stream and subscribe if you haven't yet, so you do not miss any of the racing action that we'll be having headed your way for the rest of the year. And as always, cheer on your favorite drivers in the comments. I know they appreciate it, and I know it's one of our favorite parts of being up here to read those out live. Already got B-Mac, as always, in the comments. Have a great night of racing, Team BMP. Have fun. Andrew, welcome back, Hunter. I think John missed you, but he rocked Daytona. I'm sure he did rock Daytona, and I'm also sure he did miss me, even though he wouldn't want to admit it. But I am happy to be back. I don't know if you can tell, but it's pretty much as soon as I got back, I got a bout of whatever sort of funk comes home with you from Vegas, and I am still struggling almost a week later, but we are going to power through. I am excited to be back up here in the booth and bringing this race to you all at home. But with that being said, I think it's about time that I quit my jabber and turn it over to my broadcast partner, Jonathan Smith, to say something intelligent about the race that we are getting ready to watch here at Richmond. John, it is good to be back. Talk to me about Richmond.
Yeah, first off, welcome back. Welcome back to Richmond. You missed Daytona, missed a good one, and I did miss you up here because it is very tough to have someone bouncing off of somebody else when you have nobody to bounce off to, and it's just talking to a mic and hoping that you can get your words right, which I really messed up the ending of that race. Some people may know, some people may not know the ending of the race. I usually pass off to Hunter and let him call the last lap. So we just don't walk on each other, have a good call there, and something we can clip for the views, for the content, content
yeah.
monsters. But I botched it there at the very end, said the wrong names crossing the line. It was just a mess. But
Oh no.
we are here out at Richmond, though. Pull up some track info for you here tonight as we get going here at this 0.72 mile track. Going to be about 77-degree track temp. It's going to be very slick on this track. It usually is. That's kind of how it goes at Richmond. You got to be very mindful coming into the corners. I like to think that turn 3 and 4 is a whole lot like Phoenix, where you have to get hard on the brake, kind of enter a little bit lower than you would think, and then you can get a really early exit just because of how wide turn 4 is coming out. We'll ride along with some of these drivers here in a few to see what kind of line they are running, but I think it's going to be a very good one here tonight. 112 miles coming for you. We got stage break at lap 75. Interested to see what this fuel window is going to look like. I really feel like they might be able to stretch all 75 laps here. And then also coming in tonight, pull up the standings for you right now so you can see where your favorite driver is currently sitting in the points. Coming to the night, Kevin Thompson taking that first place spot, moving up 2 spots after that win last week. Andrew St. Cyr moving up 5 spots. He's going to be in second. Josh Cully in third. John Ballou dropping down 3 spots into that 4th place position. He's got, I believe, 2 wins now this season with his teammate Jamie Knopf right behind him, and other teammate Daniel Simmons in 6th. Justin McMahon, Stephen Bonomo, Nicholas Atwood, and Brandon Trush are going to make up your top 10. That's why I'm really surprised to see just outside that top 10 is Jamie Horn. Had a little bit of bad luck for those first 2 runs this season, trying to turn that around. I mean, Daytona's never nice to anybody. They gotta. When some people say you get lucky there, some people say it's skill. I kind of think it's a lot more luck than skill sometimes, but it's the way how it goes. But I know Jamie Horn's going to be very fast at this track tonight, so I'm going to see what he's going to do here, see if he can move himself up in the points. But that Pink Magic team, man, they have come on strong this year, and they are ready to roll.
Yeah, man, I think tonight's going to be really fun to watch. Like you said, Team Pink Magic this year, I mean, new to the league for this year, but obviously not new to the racing scene at all. I mean, as a team, they've been absolutely crushing it. I mean, like you said, Channing Ballou already has 2 wins in the league thus far. Only reason he's in 3rd place in the points right now is because he wasn't able to be in the race last week. So to be 3 races in, having won 2 of them, and not even running the other one, I mean, it's still a pretty good show. But they've been on fire this year so far. Like you said, Jamie Horn had a little bit of bad luck here these first couple weeks, but I do know that he's a big short track guy, so I know he's expecting a big run here tonight. I'm looking forward to seeing how this kind of goes. I think we're going to see a lot more people here early on trying to get towards the front and stay up front. I think you're going to see people trying to qualify up front as well. I think Richmond's just one of those tracks where, especially as the race goes on, like you said, it's probably going to be kind of slick tonight anyway. And with the horsepower these cars are running, I mean, I think coming out of 2 and then trying to get back across the line in 4, I think that nose of that car is really just going to be trying to run away from you, end up in that inside wall, or kind of sends you right across the grass right there at the start-finish line, which, I mean, at least on the start-finish line, you have a little bit more room, but on the rest of the track, when that nose tries to go on you, you're trying to catch it. That's exactly what sends you up the track and ends up with a 10-car pile-up. So, like you said, kind of a shorter one for us here tonight at Richmond. I know Richmond last year, we had quite a few cautions, an uncharacteristic amount for the Doghouse Racing League and the Group 6 Cup Series, so I'm interested to see how they kind of manage that this week, but either way, it is going to be a good time.
Absolutely. We're getting out here to qualifying. Brandon Trush going to be the first one out on the track tonight, that 23 machine. Not a new paint for him, but a new color scheme that he's running. He reached out to me, asked me to put that one together for him to change some colors in that car, and to be honest, I did not understand what he was talking about for about 5 to 10 messages, and he finally just sent a picture where he colored in parts of the car with his finger. I said, oh yeah, I can do that. I was all mixed up, but happy to get that going for him. That car looks sharp out there. Blue
that
and
matte red with the blue is sick. I love that so much.
And with that car, he's going to put down a 21.27 for that last lap, trying to push out here to get a little bit faster. Chris Simon only about 400ths off his tail. Now he's going to be about 3/10, but he's going to try to improve on this next lap here.
Yeah, I know we talk about pretty much in all the races here at the very beginning where people will go back and forth between how important is your track position, how important is qualifying. I mean, we talk a lot about specifically some guys like Josh Cully who hardly ever qualify, but also at the same time, you hardly ever see him not in the top 10. I do think that's a little bit different at a short track, especially a track like Richmond, where when you're going in, and if you're even in a very safe league like Doghouse Racing League Group 6 Cup Series, I mean, you're still setting your over-under for cautions at probably 4 going into this race. So when you have a track that you're already expecting a couple cautions, you're already expecting some self-spins, and at a track like this, some of those self-spins can quite often end up being 2-3 car pile-ups. I think you're going to see a lot more guys try to qualify high, try to get up to the front, or if they're not in the front and they're kind of in that, let's say, 10th to 16th area, I think you're going to see a lot of those guys trying to get inside the top 10 quick to try to avoid any of those earlier cautions so that they can make sure that they're going to be able to be there and be competitive at the end.
Absolutely. It looks like Chris Simon's going to take the pole there for the time being. Daniel Simmons out here putting down his first lap. We just saw Andrew St. Clair pop the wall in his second lap, so I think he's going to be sitting down in that 9th place position for the time being. That second lap will not count for him. Simmons about 5 seconds off, or 5/10, I'm sorry, not 5 seconds off of your pole position. He's running his second lap now, but his teammate only 5/100ths off. That is going to be Jamie Knott sitting in the 2nd place position currently. Simmons crosses the stripe. I believe that's going to move him up to 4th place there.
Yeah, Jamie Knott in 2nd. Brandon Trush currently sitting in 3rd place. Daniel Simmons in 4th. I mean, that is about as tight as you want there for that top 5. I mean, and really that top 4, Chris Simon with a 20.94 to get the pole, and then Daniel Simmons with a 21.07 for 4th place. And then Channing Ballou coming in. He's going to be qualified 5th with a 21.118. So you're going to have 3 of your top 5 going to Team Pink Magic here when we get this thing rolling. The rest going to go to Chris Simon, who is, as of right now, with 56 seconds left in qualifying, going to be our pole winner. And I do not see anybody else currently out on the track. So far, we have Chris Simon. It's going to be Kevin Thompson making a run here, getting 2nd place with a 20.951. Then it's going to be Jamie Knopf, Brandon Trush, and Daniel Simmons. That is going to knock Channing Ballou out of the top 5.
Yeah, Kevin Thompson taking that win last week at Daytona, moving him up into the 1st place points position. Channing Ballou had that spot for quite a while, missed last week. He's going to be starting here 6th place tonight, so got a little bit of ground to make up. And this is a hard track to pass on. You really have to time up your passes and almost set up your pass about a turn or 2 in advance. And try to figure out how they're going to do it. And when they're coming out of the corner, make sure you stay on the person's tail coming out of the corner. It's very tough to do because you want to get the speed right. You don't want to brake too late and run into the back of them. But if you can do it right, you can move to the front and hopefully stay out of some of the trouble that may occur here.
100%. And are you kind of predicting what we see at a lot of short tracks where you see in guys, like you said, kind of a couple turns up to even a lap before, kind of setting up, getting as close to the bumper as you can, and then just trying to get that positioning down low so that on the entry you can get on the bottom hand side of them, still have a chance to accelerate back out, pull back up in front of them?
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see a lot of high side passing here, especially 3 and 4, unless something's different with this tire model in this car. But 1 and 2, you might be able to make a pass on the high side. It's going to be very tough. Again, if I can compare this track to anything else, it's kind of like a Phoenix with a little bit more banking, especially in 1 and 2. 3 and 4 reminds me almost exactly of Phoenix. The way you enter the corner and get on the throttle just a little bit earlier than you might expect and push out really hard. But with that comes a lot of tire spin too. So it's just going to be very tough to make that pass in 3 and 4. You got to be very fast off. And in real NASCAR, this is where we saw a lot of the drama happen. The spin them, wreck them from, I guess, a year ago. Hopefully none of that here tonight. But we are getting gridded up right now if you want to walk us through your starting lineup.
I would be happy to do that for you tonight. Your pole winner at Richmond Raceway here in the Group 6 Cup Series is going to be Mr. Christopher Simon in that number 81 Shoney's Machine. 2nd place is going to go to last week's winner for Team BMP, the number 13 of Kevin Thompson. Jamie Knopf in that 48 Paint Magic car going to be starting in 3rd place tonight. Alongside in 4th place, you're going to have Number 23 of Brandon Trush in that very sharp Knapp Daddy Racing designed car. Daniel Simmons going to be starting in 5th place here tonight. Our points leader until last week, the number 26 of Channing Ballou. Adam Gardner, that number 56 car, going to be starting in 7th place. Number 8, Mike Leftwich, going to be starting 8th. Tonight, Daniel Wilkerson in the number 28 going to be starting in 9th place, and Steve Manomo in that number 9 going to round out your top 10. Number 7 of Gary Armijo is going to be starting 11th. Chris Leftwich starting in 12th place. Gary Clune going to be starting in 13th. Andrew St. Cyr, after not quite being able to finish that second qualifying lap, starting 14th. And Jamie Horn is going to round out your top 15. That is the end of the cars who put down a qualifying lap. So after that, it will go by I rating. So after that, we are moving on to the number 88 of Josh Cully in 16th with a new paint scheme. Nick Shell in the 6th, starting 17th. Nicholas Atwood in 18th. Joe McKnight is going to start 19th. And Bill Gentry in the number 4 is going to round out your field tonight.
I'm glad they gave us an extra lap there because I really thought we were about to go green.
Yeah, I was trying to give a little bit more, of like a lead in on each car, but I was like, we also kind of started late. I was like, this might not go good, but all right. Pace car is off. We are getting ready to go green here at Richmond Raceway. They're going to take the green flag here as they hit the restart zone. Great restart for Christopher Simon, and we are underway. And they are already scattered around. Oh, that was really close there in the middle of the pack. Stephen Umbo trying to get a run there on the high side, almost getting in together with that number 83 of Chris Leftwich. He will lose a couple of positions. All right, John, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but I mean, we have a pretty short race tonight here, assuming that we don't have a lot of yellow flags. But as you know, last year, quite a few yellow flags at Richmond. What's your over-under on the cautions tonight?
I'm going to go with 4.5, not counting the stage break. And I'm going to say...
I think it's a pretty safe number.
I'm going to say... I'll take the under on 4.5. I think that's the number to set it at. I'll take the under.
Honestly, I would probably do the same if my over/under was set at 4.5. Because I think 3. I think if we can get out of here with less than 3, I think everyone's gonna be pretty happy. I think we would consider that a job well done. But Chris Simon also doing a very good job out front.
There's the
first one. And that is going to be Daniel Simmons. That's going to be Daniel Simmons. That is going to be Kevin Thompson involved in our first caution here tonight at Richmond Raceway. See if we can figure out what happened here.
Yeah, coming out of turn 4 there. I'm not sure if Thompson got loose or was trying to hit that block. I don't think he was trying to hit a block early there. That's a very slick corner, especially on cold tires. Came down right to, not even on the bumper, but just in front of Simmons, which makes me think he was a little loose there coming down, since he was just a little bit slower on that exit. Simmons getting to the back bumper of him, sending both of them off the track, but I don't think too much damage. Both of them on the brakes in time. Nobody hitting the wall.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's 30 seconds, if at all, of damage. I believe they were both kind of talking about on the radio about what kind of caused that. I think Daniel going to take the EOL for that, just to kind of be on the safe side. But like you said, I think they were both kind of trying to figure out exactly what was going on there. Daniel, not sure if he sent it into the corner a little bit too hard or if Kevin got a little bit loose. Honestly, probably a combination of both. But Richmond's one of those tracks where it is really kind of tough to gauge exactly which direction things are going. I know I'm a little bit newer in my iRacing behind the wheel journey than you are, but Richmond, one of those tracks that I have not quite figured the math out on yet. I'm I am a big fan of not quite hitting my braking point and ending it with my nose, trying to make some marks on that cookout sign in the infield.
Well, we did have 3 drivers take it down pit road. Josh Cully, one of those guys, along with Daniel Simmons and Kevin Thompson.
Yep. I'm assuming Daniel and Kevin for repairs. Josh Cully, I didn't see get involved with any sort of damage, but maybe just bringing it down to top it off on gas. That is exactly what he is doing, and bringing it back out there. BMAC in the comments saying, geez, most of Team BMP bottom 10 instead of top 10, except for Kev and Adam. And then, whoops, spoke too soon. Yeah, unfortunately, Kevin Thompson getting involved in that last caution, but there is no doubt in my mind that we're going to see some more of the Team BMP guys further toward the front before the night is over. I know we talk about a lot how well Team BMP works well as a team, especially at the super speedway tracks. I mean, you can still have a lot of teamwork going on at these short tracks. It's just very, very different than the work you would do together as a team at a super speedway. But
Yeah.
got to get out towards the front if you're really wanting to make that teamwork especially effective, I would say, at a short track.
Yeah, a little bit different. You're not really doing the drafting. There's really no draft here at all that you're going to get from these cars. I mean, you might get a car loose in front of you if you pull up to the bumper too quick, but the main thing you're doing as a teammate is usually trying to block in somebody else and box them in so they can't make that pass.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. I think that's where the teamwork really can come in at short tracks, especially with it being a situation as we take the green flag here again at Richmond. Chris Simon again getting off to a really, really good start. Channing Ballou doing a good job getting up to his bumper, making it stick for second place. Got a parade of cars behind them. Chris Leftwich in that 83 doing a good job of weaving his way through traffic, trying to get up towards the front there. Moving around Adam Gardner right there. Number 98 of Jamie Horn is on his way towards the front as well. Not the best qualifying performance for Jamie tonight, but I know how effective we've seen him be at short tracks before, as we see Brandon Trushin at 23 and 83 almost get together. We now have a battle for the lead up front. And not much of a battle, at least for right now, as the number 26 of Channing Ballou takes the lead away from Christopher Simon. Oh, we've got a car slipping back a little bit. This is another place where you can end up in some rough situation when you have a car that's losing a little bit of speed, trying to get fall back in the pack. Number 8 of Mike Leftwich was a little bit slow there for a second. Pops the wall really, really hard right there.
Yeah, Gary Armijo getting a little loose there off the corner of 2 as well. Andrew St. Court's going to be passed.
That's going to be risky. Adam Gardner and Jamie Horn were going to try to split the gap on Mike Leftwich there. And I was like, that doesn't seem like that's going to end well. Yeah, going back to what we were talking about just a second ago, if you can get your teammates up near the front, you know, a lot of times these short tracks, one of the other big strategies is how well you're able to save your tires or save your gas and things like that. But if you get your teammate out to the front, maybe he burned them up a little bit too quick. Oh no, really loose in the middle, Gary Armijo. It wasn't Gary Armijo, I apologize. That was Steven Bonomo. Caught it out of the corner of my eye, and I heard Gary Armijo over the radio hollering for the cops and telling everybody to whoa up. Bonomo down there toward the bottom of the track. Looks like exactly what we were talking about earlier. That nose trying to head towards that inner field. And what a job by the rest of the field to avoid him. I don't think any damage to any other cars, and other than the little slip to the tires and maybe a hurt to the Pride, I don't think any damage for Steven Bonomo either. Wow.
Daniel Wilkerson doing a Daniel Wilkerson and avoiding him very well there. Almost gets clipped into that, but we're gonna see if we can hop on board with Daniel Simmons once again here. He's Trying to drive through some traffic. Sees Bonomo get a little loose in front of him. Woo.
Kathy Trush in the comments as well. Say, Team Trush number 23, have a great race, Brandon. Has been a pretty good race for Brandon here so far tonight. Qualified in 4th place. Currently running in 5th place. But, yeah, I mean, what a job by all those guys to avoid any further damage either to the number 9 car of Steve Bonomo or damage to their own car. How much of their butts do you reckon were touching the seats when they came around the corner and saw his car right across the middle of the track?
Oh, you're tensing up for sure there, especially if your Simmons was barely able to get by Daniel Wilkerson as well. Can't really see out that left side too well, so you're just praying that he doesn't come back up into you. But everybody doing a really good job there of avoiding everything and getting around, and I don't think anybody took any damage there, except for a little bit of tire scrub there for Steven Bonomo, so that's going to hurt his tire wear as this run goes on, but I still don't think it's worth it to take tires now, save them things up for a longer run.
I 100% agree, but really good job by everybody so far. I mean, the 2 cautions that we've had up to this point on lap 18 both could have very easily been one of those situations where we were talking about it early on where you have to watch out. Richmond, it's so easy to have a single car or a 2-car spin that ends up ending about 7 or 8 cars as nights, and both of the cautions we've had so far tonight could have very easily been that, but instead all 3 cars that have been involved in those cautions still very much on the track and competitive here tonight. But looking forward to seeing how we're able to negotiate the rest of the night. And if you were one of those people that was with us and said that the cautions would be under 4.5 tonight, not looking great on that particular wager. But got B Bradley official in the comments saying what track they're racing today. Richmond, never mind. Yep, we are at Richmond here, 150 laps. As we take the green flag here again after our second caution of the evening. Lap 20 as they take the green flag. Channing Blue in your race lead right now. Jamie Knopf going to be currently running in 2nd. Chris Simon, Chris Leftwich in 3rd and 4th. And then Brandon Trush going to round out your top 5. Jamie Horn going to be hard charging there. He's going to get around Brandon Trush there to get his own way into the top 5. You got Adam Gardner, also going to have Mike Leftwich right there. And then Daniel Wilkerson, Gary Kloon going to round out your top 10 here.
Chris Leftwich making his way towards the front too, trying to get as far as possible, get some good track position here.
We're about to be going 3 wide here into the corner. Oh, Lord, that was close. Ember 3 wide again. Oh, no. Yeah, that was really close right there. Unfortunate loss of position there for Daniel Wilkerson because I think he got a little bit caught up in that, but still, really good job by everyone there to be able to take that 3 wide through 2 corners and nobody ends up on the ends up in the parking deck. But I think we are kind of seeing a pretty interesting difference in strategy here. I know we saw Chris Simon win the pole and was in the lead for about the first 10 laps of this race, and you saw Channing Ballou really take off and has since taken the race lead. But I mean, you also have Chris Leftwich right there. You got Jamie Horn, Jamie Knopf as well in 4th and 5th. I mean, all these guys seem like they're trying to really send it hard and really send it to the front. And kind of seems like with everybody else, they're kind of more content to not sit where they're at, but no one else really charging that hard, at least as of right now.
And it could just be trying to get the feel for the track as well and seeing how much that guy in front of you is going to burn it up and what he can do on these tires and how long he can push these tires. But nothing wrong with sitting back now. You do got a stage break to play with here, which definitely comes into strategy. Whatever you think about stage breaks, if you love them, if you hate them, it is a good way to have like a benchmark to see what happens over a longer run.
Oh, I heard caution called. I didn't see it, but I heard it.
It's going to be Joe McKnight This looks like he's going to tow almost immediately there. Coming off of turn 2 here. Just gets loose. Oh, he's going to get up into Atwood there. Atwood's going to take a lot of damage on that one. That might be a broken toe link. Looks like he's still able to steer it. But it is definitely scraping. Going to have a few minutes of damage here. And the problem with these 0.75 mile tracks, 3/4 mile tracks at least, is not a lot of time to repair that damage on pit road for the pace car gets back around. Track like Daytona, you have a little bit more time. You can kind of sit in the pits a little bit longer if you wanted to, but got to make sure you try to stay on the lead lap at least here.
Yeah, 100%. Be back in the comments saying, love your colors, Andrew St. Core with a little different paint scheme here tonight. And then B. Bradley saying McKnight's livery is epic. Did I just jinx something? Miss it? Mentioning him? Ouch. We ask ourselves the same question all the time. The broadcaster's jinx can absolutely be real. But like you said, Joe McKnight definitely going to take a little damage right there. And I believe he also towed to the pits, which probably means that something was broken. So he's going to have a additional 2 minutes on whatever sort of damage he already had. And then, like you said, unfortunately for Nicholas Atwood, these cars super finicky in where they can get hit and you can still function. And unfortunately, when Joe McKnight's car came up, it hit right on Nicholas Atwood's left front, and anything that happens right there on those front 2 tires has a tendency to be pretty problematic for the car for the rest of the night.
Yeah, I think Atwood's actually going to let it go a lap down here as the pace car is crossing the stripe now. Atwood having a little bit of trouble getting to the box. Probably that damage messes up how you're going to brake, and then went a little too far forward and a little too far back, but got it figured out. Speaking of paint schemes, Channing Ballou out here with a new one tonight. Looks like a chrome black on the side. I like that.
Well, I've seen a couple new ones here tonight. I know Chris Simon updated his earlier in the year, but I think that was really sweet. Jamie Horn, I know, has a couple that he cycles between using that he got from you, and that one he's got right there, one of my favorites. Jamie Knapp, as always, in that kind of highlighter yellow that I think is really classic. Brandon Trush, that dark red I love. Got Nick Atwood with an update from the comments. Too much damage. We are done.
Oh, no. Very unfortunate for Atwood there.
100%.
Not much he can do either.
There really isn't. And it actually looks like, I mean, he is 3 laps down, but it looks like Joe McKnight is going to be able to bring it back out onto the track, at least for right now. But like we were talking about before, anything that happens right there amongst those front 2 tires can just really be an issue. And like you said, I don't know if it completely broke a toe link, but that was probably going to be some issues with steering and tires for the rest of the night.
Yeah, and this is a very steering heavy track too, so a little bit more input, and that's going to definitely affect your case.
Green flag back in the air tonight at Richmond, lap 32. When we take the green flag here, another really good restart there for Channing Ballou. And we are doing 150 laps here tonight at Richmond Raceway. Our stage break will be at the conclusion of lap 75. So after the 10th place car crosses the line, lap 76 is when the stage caution will come out. Like you were saying earlier, John, I think we're probably in a situation where, as gas-wise, we'll probably be able to make it almost all the way, but it's just how are those tires going to be feeling when you get there? As we see for the first time tonight, Jamie Horn moves up around Chris Simon right there. Jamie Horn now into 2nd place, trying to run down Channing Ballou.
Everybody else starting to file out just a little bit. Mike Leftwich up in the wall on the high side of Kevin Thompson.
Sean Thompson in the comments saying 26 sharp, looking like Buddy Backer. feel like that's someone I should know who that is.
Yeah, you don't know who Buddy Backer is? Just ignore my keyboard in the background.
Ignore my keyboard in the background. Oh, not Backer, Baker. Yes, I know who Buddy Baker is.
It's absolutely, I did out there.
Yeah, I confused myself. I'm probably thinking that's who I was. Buddy Backer. Crap, this is somebody who I should definitely know who it is. I don't. I'm gonna make myself look like an idiot. And instead just ended up looking like an idiot. Yeah, I know who Buddy Baker is. But yeah, it kind of does.
Well, I might not look like an idiot, but let me tell you. It's not about the looks. So probably, I definitely am one.
I feel like that's a line I have to give a lot at work. Where like someone's like, "Wow, that's a good idea," and it's like, I'm actually full of them for a guy with a mullet and hand tattoos, but try to reverse the system on him a little bit. But Channing Ballou still doing a good job out front here at Richmond Raceway. Still maintaining a lead. It's actually increased that lead over Jamie Horn over the past 3 laps by about 0.3 of a second, and they are starting to really separate from the rest of the field. Chris Simon in 3rd place, going to be about 3.5 seconds back right now. Jamie Knapp going to be sitting about 3.8 seconds. Actually going to go to 4 seconds right there on that last lap in 4th place. And then his teammate Daniel Simmons currently sitting in 5th place. Looking like he's going to make the pass there and get himself into 4th. After that, you're going to have Chris Leftwich, Adam Gardner, Brandon Trush, Gary Kloon, and Andrew St. Cyr rounding out your top 10. Currently going to have 18 of the original 20 cars that we started with tonight on the lead lap. Joe McKnight going to be 3 laps down in 19th. And Nicholas Atwood, unfortunately, is going to be at the end of his night early and sitting in 20th. And there we go. Chris Leftwich. Oh, no. Chris Leftwich was having an incredibly strong night here. Saw him moving his way up toward the field. Was actually doing a really good job of catching the leaders earlier. He is going to go for our John Deere Green Award. Take a really good slide across the infield there. But again, almost no damage to that car.
I was trying to find him there, and my camera lost him. Yep. Coming out of 4 there, getting loose. That front straightaway is a little bit banked and a little bit curved coming out too, so kind of like Chicagoland on the backstretch has a little bit of curve to that backstretch. This front stretch has a little bit of curve with a little bit of banking, but not enough to make it like a Daytona, Talladega, Tri-Oval. Definitely not enough cornering to make it like a Texas, Atlanta, or Charlotte, but it's enough to play with you, and it's very frustrating sometimes. I believe Daniel Wilkerson coming down pit road. Andrew St. Cyr also on pit road, taking right sides right now. Chris Leftwich bringing it down. Andrew St. Cyr going to take 4 tires here.
Interesting to see if some of these guys going ahead and taking 4 here. Especially with a lot of these guys not pitting as well, so
Kind of don't hate that strategy that he's pulling here. Andrew St. Cyr and Daniel Wilkerson. Stage coming up in about 30 laps. Looks like probably 28, 27 by the time we go green. So, I mean, you're going to have fresh tires and might be able to push to the front. As long as you get around the traffic. That's going to be the hardest part.
Yeah, 100%. I think this is this kind of strikes me as a you strategy. That seems like something I would have seen you do. Where I'm like, should we actually go ahead and pit? And you're like, no, we can actually work our way up to the front before the stage. So very curious to see how this ends up working out.
Yeah, it just depends on how you feel on old tires or not. If you're really comfortable on old tires, maybe not pit here, especially if you're in the front. If you're closer to the back, maybe even mid, then you feel a lot better on fresh tires here tonight. Or if you know you've already burned them up, trying to figure out the track a little bit, which is something I am guilty of. I use all of the first stage to try to figure out what I'm actually doing on the track and how to drive it. Might not be a bad idea here, and then you have an extra 2 sets laying in the pits.
Yeah, I think especially at a track like Richmond, it actually kind of makes me think about the note that everyone got from the league admin and also currently 17th place driver Daniel Wilkerson. We are all going as fast as we can to get to the same line first. And if that's not Richmond racing, I do not know what is.
That's almost prophetic. That's deep.
I was going to say, you can apply that to a lot of things, but we are all going as fast as we can to get to the same line first. I mean, like you said earlier, I mean, yeah, Richmond's, yeah, the finish line, whatever the case, but in Richmond, that also applies to the low line. But we are getting ready to get back going here. Lap 48 when we cross the stripe. Good Lord, what a restart for that top 3. And kind of a little bit of a note on that as well, as we've seen, several of our cautions tonight come with drivers right there near that start-finish line, getting really loose on the nose and kind of sliding it through that grass. For Channing Ballou, Jamie Horn, and Chris Simon, that top 3, who all just really, really got going really, really well there at the start of the restart right there. That is not easy at all.
Gary Armijo quick to the bumper of Gary Clune. And Kevin Thompson riding that wall a little bit. It's going to slow him down here. Cully going to the inside. Might try to push it 3 wide if Thompson has a run, but he doesn't. Leftwich getting a little bit too much of that corner there. Clune is very fast on entry, but he is losing it there on exit with Gary Clune. Not Clune, Armijo is very fast on entry, but losing it on exit. Oh, a little too fast there. Tries to keep him straight. He's not going to be able to stay straight. And Wilkerson gets into the side aisle. He's avoided wrecks all year long. Man, I jinxed that one as well.
I mean, I don't know that you jinxed it as much as kind of saw it coming a little bit, like you said.
Yeah, normally the guys that are like very fast on entry are going to end up overrunning that corner at some point, send them up the track, what we call plowing, because it kind of feels like you can't turn left. You're trying to turn left, your car can't just because you're overshooting that corner just a little bit too much. And along with that too, you're going to burn up that right front, which is really going to hurt you over the long run, trying to make that rotation through the corner. So maybe a little jinx. Kind of saw that coming just a little bit there, though, just the way the lines were going. But it's a lot easier to see lines and stuff up here. It's a lot harder to apply it on the track. That's going to be Chris Simon, Mike Leftwich, Jamie Horn, Daniel Wilkerson coming down pit road again to fix that damage there. Gary Clune also on pit road.
It was exactly like you said. Very, very quick into entry. Struggling a little bit on exit, and then unfortunately just coming up there and got stuck up against Gary Clune. And I actually believe I heard a couple people come over the radio. I think Gary Clune might be done for the night, and I believe Daniel Wilkerson might also be done for the night. Again, you saw that damage right there on those front tires, and that's going to be tough to bounce back from. I think I heard them come over the radio and say their nights may be done after that one, but Mike Leftwich also going to bring it down pit road. I believe Chris Simon went ahead and brought it down pit road as well. He did indeed.
So your top 3 right now going to be that Pink Magic team: Channing Ballou, Daniel Simmons, Jamie Knapp.
1, 2, 3 up front. They're going to be followed by Adam Gardner, Brandon Trush, Josh Cully, Gary Armijo. Again, but I believe Gary Armijo is going to be taking the EOL penalty for that last caution, which will send him to the tail end of the longest line, which would be 16th, I believe.
I'm trying to see here. I couldn't remember if Simmons has picked up a win this season yet. He has not, but he has placed in the top 3, I believe, twice now throughout the course of the season. So he's still searching for a win. Jamie Knapp been having some really good runs, finding a little bit of that unlucky streak, bad luck, whatever you want to call it, throughout the races, and not getting the finishes he's been driving for and having the skill to put up. Just can't do much when the bad luck finds you.
100%, and especially at Richmond, when that bad luck can typically end up as a little bit more of a problem for everybody else. But we are going to get going back here again. Great restart by Team Pink Magic up front.
Yeah, those guys definitely timed that restart together.
Yeah.
Some good comms will do for you.
Rounding out your top 5 right behind them. Josh Cully also working his way to the front. Josh Cully started in 16th here tonight, already working his way almost up into the top 5 here. Andrew St. Cord looking for a way in as well. Got a pretty good clump right there in that 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th right now, battling to get their way to the front as we are getting closer and closer to that stage break at lap 75. It is honestly about when I feel like you would start seeing guys try to work their way up into that top 10, because like you said, Richmond, very difficult track to pass at. You got to set it up, you got to get to that low side, and then be also able to make your exit and not end up going up the track. But good job out of these guys so far. Number 9 of Steve Bonomo, after it being one of the earlier cautions here on a single car spin, working his way back up through the field as well. He's going to be up there in 8th place right now. Oh, almost going to send it 3 wide right there. Jamie Horn goes all the way to the bottom of the track to try to get to the low side of Steve Bonomo, and he is going to do it, actually. Gets right to the bumper of Kevin Thompson there.
Andrew St. Cord going to get around Brandon Trush there, working on Josh Cully in front of him now. Thompson into the wall. That's going to give up that spot to Jamie Horn. So Horn's going to move up to 8th place. He is up 7th place, 7 spots for tonight as he passes Brandon Trush there. St. Cord working that high side on Cully.
We saw Jamie as high as 2nd earlier, but then I believe he went ahead and brought it down pit road on that last caution. He's sent it back to the middle of the pack, and he is getting right back on the horse and trying to work his way back forward. And Jamie looks really fast right now. He's making all the lines work right now. We saw him go low side there to get around Kevin Thompson and his teammate Brandon Trush. And he's going to the high side to work his way around Josh Cully. He's actually going to make that work as well, try to get up to the bumper of Adam Gardner.
Yeah, meanwhile, Andrew St. Cord able to get around Adam Gardner there. And now Jamie Horn trying to follow suit, doing the same thing, getting low to the bottom, making sure you got that door in that quarter. And securing that pass there.
Jamie Horn has got to be flying right now. Good night. He made that look really easy on Adam Gardner right there. Adam Gardner with a 21.57 that last lap by. Jamie Horn with a 21.267. Yeah, that'll do it.
Now St. Cord making his way to the podium spot.
21.104 on that last lap for Jamie Horn. So Jamie Horn's just out here running qualifying pace right now.
Yeah, you got about 10 to go. Why not? You know you're going to bring it down there and get some 4 tires, and got to make you feel good for the last part of this race.
Yeah, 100%. And I believe we have 3 sets of tires. So you get your first set of tires, try to give yourself a good run at the stage break. Go ahead and 4-tire it again at the stage break. Make sure you're competitive right after. And you still have a set behind the wall in case you want to change them later in the race. I mean, that's seems like a pretty hard strategy to argue with to me.
Absolutely. Jamie Horn is sitting in 12th place in the points tonight. Needs a win here. At least a good run to start moving himself up forward. Oh, and gets very loose trying to get to the low side of Andrew St. Cour. St. Cour's going to hold on to third place for now. Got about 9 to go until the end of this stage.
So I think you're starting to see those guys who did bring it down pit road trying to really turn it up here. With just a couple laps left here before the stage break. Stage break again at lap 75, lap 68. Across the stripe this time, but someone else who is not waiting around right now is Channing Ballou. Has 1.7 seconds of a lead on his teammate Daniel Simmons right now. But Andrew St. Cour and Jamie Horn have both been able to clear their teammate Jamie Knapp to get themselves into third and fourth place. Got a long way to go to try to get caught up here. They're going to try to make a play for the win of the stage, but they're both definitely trying to work their way forward as they are both flying towards Daniel Simmons here.
You can see with the last 6 laps here, Andrew St. Cour has only made up about 3/10 on your leader. Moving on back to Jamie Horn, who's made up about 4/10 on the leader. He's only got about 6 laps to play with here, so he try to get to the front as quick as possible. I'm not sure if he's going to have enough time to make it all the way up there, especially with a little bit of traffic in his way.
Yeah, they both are already knocking on the door of Daniel Simmons, though. Lap 71 when we crossed the stripe that time, but you have to figure that Daniel Simmons is going to be back there trying to run a little bit of interference for his teammate. Oh, Jamie Horn and Andrew St. Cour almost getting together right there.
I think Jamie Horn has a little bit more in that car than he's showing right now. It sounds like he's kind of laying off just a little bit, trying not to get to the back bumper of St. Cour.
Yeah, like you said, you have Andrew St. Cour there, who's had a really great season so far. Jamie Horn, who's run into a little bit of bad luck. That was one of our favorite battles to watch last season, and the cards have been falling Andrew St. Cour's way here as the season has started. So I don't think Andrew St. Cour wanting to give that position away very lightly to Jamie Horn either. But then, like we said, you have to assume also Daniel Simmons ran a little bit of interference for his teammate up front. As the pit lanes close here, as we are almost to our stage break here. Reminder, stage will be thrown here once the 10th place car, which is currently going to be the number 56 of Adam Gardner, crosses the stripe to make it lap 76. That is because they will be getting bonus points for this stage. 10 bonus points will go to the winner of the stage. 9 points to second, 8 points to third, so on and such forth. But we are approaching the end of it here as they enter the front stretch for the last time in this stage, and it is going to be Channing Ballou.
Oh, and Andrew St. Cour beats him out by a hair to get that third place spot on the stage. And I believe we got a note too that says that they're going to hold on. I believe Daniel gave a note before saying that the position is going to be determined when the caution flag comes out. Caution flag will not come out till the 10th place driver crosses the stripe, but if it is when each car crosses the stripe, that goes to Andrew St. Cour. But if it's when the caution comes out, that's going to be Jamie Horn. I believe Jamie had that spot when the caution flag flew.
That was very, very close, but either way, that is our first stage here tonight, complete at Richmond Raceway. I'm sure we're going to see everybody bringing it down, getting that 4 tires and fuel. I lied. No, we will not. Jamie Horn, Chris Leftwich, Chris Simon, all electing to stay out.
We just saw Channing Ballou run that whole stint without taking any tires or any fuel. Able to be pretty dominant out there doing so. So we know these guys can get at least 78 plus or minus about 10 with caution. So 68 to be completely safe. I believe that's definitely going to get them to the finish line.
Was it you said you saw being pretty dominant without pitting?
That was Channing Ballou, who was taking his first pit stop now.
Yeah, I mean, he was still incredibly fast there at the end. I mean, he was, like you said, Jamie Horn was borderline putting down qualifying times out there, and Andrew St. Cyr was not far behind him at all. And you still saw Channing Ballou able to be out there putting down fantastic times. As Jamie Horn and Andrew St. Cyr only made up about 0.4 of a second on Ballou there, that last green flag run, but
they're actually going to bring up pit road now, so they're going to lose those spots, but Jamie Horn's going to pick up a lap lead.
Very nice, very nice. That is an interesting strategy. I think I see the vision for it, but very interesting.
And Jamie Horn's trying to get as many points as he can tonight to try to move up just a little bit. Kind of not familiar territory where he's at right now in the points. While we got a little bit of time, I will pull up that point standings for you again. And at any time throughout the week, if you would like to check out where your favorite driver is at, go to doghouseracingle.com. And you could check out the schedule and the standings, and also a link to the Sim Racer Hub page where you could check out the stats for your favorite driver and see how the season is going for them. Right now, Andrew St. Cyr sitting in that second place spot in the points, only 14 points behind his teammate Kevin Thompson. Started on the front row tonight in second place. But Jamie Horn got quite the distance to go, 53 points to make up to catch up to the leader. Still a lot of season left. I know it's going to be a good jump for these guys as we're missing Jamie Horn tonight. We're going back green flag racing here. Not Jamie Horn, missing Justin McMahon tonight out of the pack, so he's going to drop down the points a little bit. Oh, Channing Ballou's around. Able to save it for now, still locking him up. Wow, what a save.
Oh, look at him scatter.
What a save.
Look at him scatter. Oh, now 83, Chris Leftwich in the wall.
I'm just trying to keep up.
83 of Chris Leftwich got in the wall really, really hard there. And then, like you said, Channing Ballou almost getting completely around right there. Not really sure how he was able to save that. We were talking about it earlier, how tough it is getting these cars restarted, getting back in the gas, especially there on the fresh tires. That is borderline unbelievable that didn't cause a bigger incident than it could have.
Yeah, especially on fresh tires, and also you got to think these cars are taking a full tank of gas as Andrew St. Cyr gets a little loose there, going to lose some positions. Brandon Trush there on the outside trying to get around him now. His teammate Kevin Thompson right behind. But when you get those fresh tires, especially after the run, there's two pressures you're really looking at. Your cold tire pressure when you start your run, and then your hot tire pressure at the end. And as the run goes on, those tires will eventually expand and get bigger and bigger, but now you're putting smaller tires in your car and a full tank of gas on top of it. Can cause it to get really loose.
Yeah, I think we saw a couple instances of that there on that restart, but now your race leader going to be Daniel Simmons. Also looked very, very fast tonight, but didn't look like he really had anything in the tank for his teammate Channing Ballou. But now Channing Ballou back in 13th. Going to be having to work his way back through the field to get up to the front. And we were talking about it earlier. I would assume some of these guys will be bringing it down if we get some cautions, but I don't think any of these guys need to bring it down again if this thing does stay green.
You got Gary Armijo bringing it down with some damage to that left front.
Saw Gary Armijo involved in one of those cautions earlier on. That was the one that unfortunately also took Daniel Wilkerson and Gary Clune out of the race. Currently going to have 14 cars on the lead lap of the original 20 that started the race. Mike Leftwich going to be one lap down in 15th on the track, and then Gary Armijo going to be currently sitting 2 laps down in 14th place, or in 16th, excuse me. And then Chris Leftwich also now down on pit road. We saw him pop the wall pretty hard there a few minutes ago in 17th.
Yeah, Yeah, definitely got some damage there to that front right.
But your leader's still going to be the Paint Magic teammates of Daniel Simmons and Jamie Knapp. Daniel Simmons with about 0.6 of a second of a lead over his teammate right now. But Josh Cully looking like he's trying to get it turned on a little bit. He's sitting in third place. He's gained some time on Jamie Knapp. Same for Brandon Trush. Was pretty close to about 2 seconds behind the race lead just a few laps ago. Now sitting in fourth after getting around Andrew St. Court, who is rounding out your top 5 right now. Behind him, you've got his teammate, Kevin Thompson. Jamie Horn going to be sitting in 7th right now. Nick Schell going to be in 8th place right now. Then you're going to have Chris Simon and Channing Ballou now back up into 10th place. Moved up a couple spots very, very quickly after almost completely destroying that car on the restart after our stage break. But now you have to wonder, he's going to have to really burn it up to get back up there to the front. Almost 5 seconds behind the race leader right now. He's been incredibly fast all night, led the majority of our laps here in that first stage early. Do you think he'll still have anything in the tank left for him if he is able to get back to the front?
Yeah, that's going to be the hard part. It's just trying to get through traffic. You're definitely going to burn them up more. You're not taking your line of best fit where your tires feel the best at, where your car feels the best at. Just because of the nature of people being high or being low. So, got to work methodically, but also got to be smart about it and try to ride your line as long as possible. You still got about 57 to go here. It's car down on the inside. I can't figure out who it is down there, but I believe that's Jamie Horn. Yeah, he is tore up there.
Jamie Horn's car, unfortunately, very torn up there. It's like it just dove down into the inside wall on him. Saw that hood fly up. That is almost certainly going to be the end of the night for Jamie Horn. What in the world might have happened right there?
Oh, just very loose coming off turn 2 on that back stretch. Gets down to the wall. Smacks the wall very hard there.
That one is going to be a lot of trouble for Jamie Horn. Very, very unfortunate. We saw how fast he was tonight. Was fighting his way through the field earlier on. Got himself in a really good position at the end of the stage. Was battling with Andrew St. Court for those spots in the top 3, and just very unfortunate to see, as we have to assume that's going to be the end of the night for Jamie Horn, as he is already going to be 3 laps down and now back in 15th position. Last car in the lead lap, currently going to be the number 51 car of Joe McKnight. Currently sitting in 13th position. Saw him involved in one of those earlier cautions as well, but able to get the car repaired and get back out there. But a lot of movement on the track so far here tonight. I mean, just in your top 10, Bill Gentry up 10 spots here tonight. Chris Simon, unfortunately, got the pole position, currently down 8 spots in 9th place, but Nick Schell up 9 spots, 17th to 8th. Andrew St. Court qualified 14th after we saw that unfortunate second qualifying lap. He's up into the top 5 right now in 5th place. And Josh Cully, just doing Josh Cully things, starting in 16th place here tonight. Currently sitting in 3rd right now behind the Pink Magic teammates of Daniel Simmons and Jamie Knapp. It's about 1.8 seconds behind the leader. You got Brandon Trush currently sitting in the position that he qualified in, sitting in 4th place. Man, Team Pink Magic did not come to play around tonight.
Yeah, Channing Ballou already back up to 7th place now on the bumper. Kevin Thompson, who's been very fast here all night long, still trying to move his way forward. Ballou going to go to the bottom side here. I'm not sure if he's going to have a good run. Thompson might have a really good exit, but he does have Mike Leftwich, a lap down car in front of him. I guess a few cars in front of him, I should say, but it's definitely something you're seeing out your windshield, knowing you got to handle that when it comes.
Yeah, 100%. It's actually a really good position for Channing Ballou to be in right there with that lap car being on the high side. looking like Mike's going to be able to get away all the way up to the wall, pretty much get out of everybody's way. Everybody able to work their way around. But I was going to say, it seemed like that was a really good spot for Channing Ballou to be in, because Mike was going to kind of be blocking in some of those other cars. But Kevin Thompson putting up a really, really good fight. They're on that high lane right now. Channing Ballou not able to fight his way around, at least as of yet.
St. Cyr trying to throw a block there on the bottom side to slow up Ballou, but not able to get down to the bottom.
Ooh.
Ballou's going to get to the bottom there.
Ballou did a really good job of getting his nose down right there. Not really having to move anybody out of the way, but it's definitely one of those things. Andrew St. Cyr, some of the smartest in the business right there. And he saw that Channing got his nose down on him, and once he gets that nose down, there's not going to be a whole lot you're going to be able to do to slam the door, other than potentially wrecking yourself, him, or others. Oh, really loose for Kevin Thompson right there. He's going to get slowed way down. That is going to allow Chris Simon to make up a ton of time there.
So
Really good
Simmons,
job by Kevin Thompson, though, to be able to get back into it.
Simmons out here has almost doubled his gap over top of his teammate Jamie Knapp, out to a 1.6, was at a 0.8 about 5 to 10 laps ago.
Yeah, and you have to assume that's going to be some teammate chatter right there, where you have two teammates there in the top two, and then you have their teammate Channing Ballou, who is trying to fight his way back up after almost destroying that car on the restart, able to save it by at least a medium-sized miracle right there, because now he's back there battling with Brandon Trush for 4th place. And you have to assume that they're all talking, with Josh Cully being up there in the top 3, being very, very fast. Josh Cully starting to pick the pace up on Jamie Knapp as well. You got some other fast cars as well. You have to assume that they're in there talking, saying, hey, leader, go ahead, get on your horse, start getting as much time as you can, because the rest of this field is coming, and they are doing their best to get up there quick.
Yeah, some interesting data points that got pulled up here as well. Looking at the average finish for these drivers over the year, you got 3 guys tied for 1st place for average finish, sitting at 6.3. That's going to be Jamie Knapp, Josh Cully, and Kevin Thompson. All these guys very fast tonight.
Yeah, 100%. Got B. Bradley in the comments, headed out to go sim race Mount Panorama. Thanks for the commentating, boys. Of course, sir. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope to see you next week. Mark McCrae just tuning in. What did Andrew do to lose his saint status?
You know, I actually saw that too on the left-hand side of your screen where it just says core, and I'm not sure, because it is. I have not changed anything on that part. I'm not sure if iRacing might have had an update that has changed the data that it transmits over to our overlay system. Because in my overlay system, I still have St.
I
Cyr,
hadn't even
but
taken. I hadn't even noticed that. I was just like, I didn't even know Andrew was Catholic. So I mean, that's news to me here. But either way, I mean, Andrew, one of the nicest guys in the business. So I guess even if he takes it out of there, I'm sure you can still say that he has his saint status. But Sandra Horn also in the comments. Daggum, Jamie, sorry, computer crashed on you. So it was a computer crash that took out Jamie Horn. That is so unfortunate to see. The bad luck bug is just all over Jamie Horn here in the start of this season.
on the other side of Jamie Horn, though, he was giving me advice on how tire wears when you do burnouts, and as if I do burnouts for winning. But he does so many that he's giving me advice on how much the tire will wear if you want to get good data afterwards to check out later. Buddy, I don't have to worry about that.
Giving you advice on how much a burnout will tear your tires up so you can still figure out how your tires were during the race?
Yeah.
What in the world?
That was after Jamie Horn picked up the win in the ARCA Series on Tuesday nights for the Doghouse Racing League, which if you are interested in more Doghouse Racing League actions, check them out Tuesday nights on Intensity Broadcasting. We're heading to Pocono next week. Be starting at 7:45 Eastern Time. Josh over there broadcasting for Intensity does a fantastic job.
Can highly recommend. You will always catch John out there on the track on Tuesday nights. I have also started running in the Tuesday night series. I was unfortunately having to miss the second race due to being out of town for work, and then I was not able to race this week due to illness, but hopefully looking to get back out there with these guys for next week. I'm really enjoying being on the track with all these guys. But looking out there at the front of the pack right now, Daniel Simmons continues to pull away about 2.5 seconds over his teammate Jamie Knopf right now, but Josh Cully right on the bumper of Jamie Knopf. And then there is Channing Ballou going to the inside of Josh Cully. And he's actually going to get that pass done here before we cross the stripe to make it lap 120. Josh Cully's still very fast out here tonight, but now you got to consider that you are going to, if you want to continue to move this thing forward, now you're going to have to get ahead of 3 teammates. And we talked about that earlier with how we see Team BNP at Super Speedways, how well they work together as a team, how much they practice, and how well that works. But figure out a short track when, even if you do have a very fast car like Josh Cully so obviously does here tonight, having to get around 3 teammates is not what you want to see.
Yeah, I'm just very surprised that Channing Ballou still has the tires underneath it, driving from the back to the front, and also having that massive slide where he had to lock them up. I mean, that does, believe it or not, tears up the tires a lot more than you would think. It could even take off about 3 to 4% off that tread, but still able to drive around this field and get closer to the front. Now in second place, about 2.5 seconds from his teammate, with about 29 laps to go here.
Mark McRae and McGowan Sam figured he must have sinned pretty bad, referring to Andrew St. Court. Skip confession, like the last 4 weeks, man, it's just like there's a point where the Saints got to go. But this is looking like Josh Cully and that number 88 car's working to make his pass on Jamie Knopf right here. Which, if nothing else, something that you got to take pride in if you're Josh Cully, even if you're not able to get back all the way to the front and end up in the winner's circle. At least you can prevent another team from having a 1-2-3 finish. Or at least those are the things that I would think about, because I'm a overly competitive, we'll go with rascal.
I don't know if you remember the old Orbit commercials. I know I say it a lot, but it's one of my go-tos. But when they had the dirty mouth and you had to clean up with Orbit, my favorite was "Son of a Biscuit-Eating Bulldog."
Yep, son of a biscuit-eating bulldog.
That's your competitive son of a biscuit-eating bulldog.
Yep, we'll go with that one. We'll do our alma mater proud with that one. I think they would approve.
We have 25 laps to go and out to a 2.25 lead here. Daniel Simmons, part of that Pink Magic team, looking for his first win of the year. Been leading probably the last 45 some laps now.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's gonna be making a run on his teammate Channing Ballou to lead the most laps here as well. We saw the pole winner Chris Simon lead about the first 10 or 12, and then after that it was the Channing Ballou show for the rest of that first stage. Now Daniel Simmons been leading the majority of this second stage here so far, as we are going to be getting really close to 20 to go here, as we are on lap 128 right now. Josh Cully able to get around Jamie Knopf and put about 0.7 of a second on him, so he is pulling away, but he's got about 1.1 seconds to make up before he can get back to Channing Ballou, who's trying to run down his teammate Daniel Simmons for first place here tonight. Rest of your top 5 is going to be Brandon Trush, who's currently sitting in 5th place right now. He's got Kevin Thompson right on his bumper as they both get around the lap car of the number 8 of Mike Leftwich. Andrew St. Court currently sitting in 7th place right now. Your pole winner, Chris Simon, going to be in 8th place right now. Bill Gentry up 11 spots from where he started, sitting in 9th place right now. Then you're going to have Nick Shell rounding out your top 10. And definitely worth mentioning as well, Joe McKnight and Stephen Bonomo in 11th and 12th right now. Saw both of those guys get involved in cautions early, but able to work their way back almost up into the top 10 here. So good job by both of those guys to get it done. Oh, looks like Bonomo got a little bit loose right there. It's going to let Adam Gardner get around him and get into 13th place there. As we see, Daniel Simmons is catching up to the back of the pack here on lap 132 of 150. He's going to be starting to put some cars a lap down, so we will see how that affects the rest of the field behind him and see if it affects anyone being able to get up there and catch him for that first place. Mark McRae in the comments saying everyone knows that causing bad wrecks is one of the 8 deadly sins. Yeah, I saw 7. You know, you had the what are the gluttony and all the different the 7 deadly sins, and then there was the one where the guy was just out pitting people, turned them into the wall. It's like 20 minutes of the movie, man. I mean, how can you forget?
I just got to know what's in the box.
Jokes aside, that is like one of my top 10 favorite movies.
I gotta go with Ocean's 11. It's my favorite desert island movie. If I had to pick one movie for the rest of my life, that's it. And you're getting to live the Ocean's 11 dream out there in Vegas last week. Didn't even get a picture or a video you walking away from the fountain like the ending of the movies.
I did, so I had very little free time while I was in Vegas. I was there for work, so I was doing 12s pretty much the entire time I was there. But I had one day where I only had like a shift. I had about a 6-hour shift. And so instead of going back to my room and resting my feet like I should have, I decided that I wanted to walk down the strip because I didn't really get to see much. And my 2 stops were the Bellagio, so I could see the fountains. It was playing some like Ed Sheeran song. Still pretty cool. But I was there by myself, my wife at home, so I'm just sitting there watching like all these couples dancing in the middle of the strip. Very romantic. To this really cool moment, and I'm just standing there with my phone like, wow, this is really cool. I'm so alone. And then I had to go over to Caesars and take a picture of the entrance that takes you into like the villas at Caesars. We've all seen The Hangover.
Yeah. Any good SIGs on your pager there? Your pager pick up any good SIGs?
Pager didn't pick up any good SIGs, but I did get a chance to go up and ask an employee if the real Julius Caesar did live there.
Oh my gosh, they probably hated you.
Yeah, the late 20s guy with a mullet walking around taking pictures of all the stuff that was in The Hangover so he can send it to his friends. Yeah, I'm sure I was not their favorite.
We have made a lot of movie reference tonight over this 112-mile race, 150 laps. We got about 139 in the books here. Coming to 11 to go. Your race leader, Daniel Simmons, down to about a 1.3 second lead over his teammate Channing Ballou, who has drove from the back to the front, fell all the way back, and then to the front again.
Yeah, he really has. I mean, he's still running about 0.2 faster than his teammate Daniel Simmons right now. Oh, it looks like Ballou did catch the wall a little bit right there. That's going to hurt his chances, but like you said, I'm still very curious how Channing Ballou has any tires still under that thing right now. But, I mean, Daniel Simmons has been setting a hot pace out there as well, so you have to wonder how his tires are doing. But they are still 1 and 2 right now, about 1.3 seconds of the lead for Daniel Simmons over his teammate. We'll see how that changes after Ballou got into the wall there, lost about 0.2. Then you have Josh Cully sitting back there in 3rd place, about 3.4 seconds behind the race leader. Then you're going to have Jamie Knopf sitting in 4th place. Brandon Trush still definitely going to be within striking distance to get himself inside the top 5, currently sitting in 5th right now. He's got Kevin Thompson right on his bumper, and they are both still within striking distance of Jamie Knopf here as we come to 8 to go here.
Yeah, Thompson's been pulling Brandon Trush in. There's only 8 laps left. Trush has to hold him off. Luckily, this track is a track that you can hold off drivers a little bit easier than some of these other tracks that you go to. Not a lot of lines that you can play with. Maybe a little bit 1 and 2. You can kind of start higher in the mid, kind of what Thompson is doing right here, and dive out low. That's going to get you a good run down the back stretch and maybe set you up for a pass in the next corner. But 3 and 4, man, there's just, it seems like it's a one-line track here. You can actually see the black on the track exactly where everybody goes.
Yep. I was going to say it really is kind of that for if you want to be able to block here at Richmond. I mean, it's really just, especially through 1 and 2, get all the way down to that yellow line, then get back up, cover the middle lane on exit. And then, like you said, going into 3 and 4, it really is just hug the yellow line as best you can.
Got Steven Bonomo bringing it down pit road right now. 5 to go. He's got some damage, it looks like, to that left front.
Still a really strong run for Steven Bonomo. He was a lap down, but did fight through being involved in one of our first cautions here tonight. One of those single car spins. Was sitting in 13th. Almost 1 lap down, but unfortunately going to go a couple more laps down here. Looks like he had to top off on fuel. So that's a wrinkle that we didn't take into account if people were going to be able to make it on fuel. But we are still either way, we are still approaching the end of the race. It is going to be 2 to go here when we cross the stripe this last time. Daniel Simmons able to hold on to that lead pretty successfully here now. Still has 1.8 seconds over his teammate Channing Ballou. 2 to go as we cross the stripe this time. I think as long as Daniel Simmons can keep it between the wall and the yellow line, this should be his race to lose here. A little bit of ground gained for Channing Ballou there, but 1.7 seconds is going to be a lot to make up here as we conclude this race. White flag is going to go into the air here. Again, Daniel Simmons able to increase that lead by 0.2 of a second over his teammate Channing Ballou. Josh Kelly still sitting in 3rd place. Jamie Knopf in 4th. Brandon Trush 5th. And Kevin Thompson 6th. A dominating performance in the back half of this race. Well deserved and earned. And it is going to be Daniel Simmons taking the checkered flag at Richmond Raceway. Able to pull away from the rest of the field. Been searching for it all season long. And he gets it tonight at Richmond. What a win for Daniel Simmons. Channing Ballou going to come home in 2nd place here tonight. Josh Cully with another strong performance, finishing in 3rd here tonight. Ruining the 1-2-3 Pink Magic finish. Jamie Knopf going to finish in 4th place here tonight. Brandon Trush 5th. Kevin Thompson going to come home 6th. Andrew St. Cyr gets 7th. Chris Simon gets 8th place. Bill Gentry gets 9th. And Joe McKnight is going to finish and round out your top 10. But he has been searching for it all season long so far. Makes it happen, goes for the gold, and gets it at Richmond Raceway. Daniel Simmons gets to burn it down in Richmond.
And that is going to be just about it for us here tonight, wrapping up this thing here at Richmond. Been a really good night for racing at this 3/4 of a mile track. Before we get some of these drivers up here in the booth, I want to just show you our final results here. Daniel Simmons, Channing Ballou, Josh Cully, rounding out your 1, 2, 3. We will have interviews with them coming up in just a second. Going to be Jamie Knopf finishing in 4th, Brandon Trush in 5th, Kevin Thompson 6th, Andrew St. Cyr in 7th, Chris Simon, your pole winner, finishing in 8th place tonight. Bill Gentry in 9th, and Joe McKnight in 10th place to round out your top 10 there. We will try to pull up some of these drivers here in a second, but in the meantime, I do want to thank our sponsor, Group 6, for sponsoring this Cup Series for this season and last season, and being a good sponsor to us and helping us put this thing on and keeping us up here in the booth, keeping the drivers on the track. With that said, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back.
y'all.
And we are back here on Doghouse Racing TV on YouTube. Thank you everybody for joining us here tonight on Doghouse Racing. Out here at Richmond running 112 miles for this 150 lap race. Your race winner, Channing Ballou, waiting on some of these drivers to get down here to the booth so we can get some interviews for them. But overall, just some really good racing all around. Had a few cautions at the beginning. I think a lot of the drivers figured out this track shortly after that, and had some good racing there at the end. A little bit more spaced out than I thought it was going to be for some of these drivers, and I was very surprised some of these drivers able to hold on to the fuel mileage and the tires and just drive it to the end there and still be very fast. But what do I know there? Those guys are good, know what they're doing. But give us your thoughts on the race.
Man, it was fun to watch. I mean, we love short track racing. I know a lot of these guys love short track racing as much as Richmond is the bane of my existence when I'm behind the wheel. I know a lot of these guys really enjoy being out here, and it was really fun to watch. Like you said, we had a couple of cautions early where you just have those kind of single car spins, and then in some other cases where it's the kind of the stack on effect where one guy goes around and just causes the pile behind him. But to be very honest, I thought it could have been a lot worse. I thought we could have had a lot more pile ups. I mean, the first three cautions really could have been a lot worse than they actually ended up being. I think through the first three cautions, we didn't have anybody out of the race, which was really cool, but unfortunate to see a lot of really fast cars with their nights ending early due to damage or technical difficulty in Jamie Horn's case. But, I mean, Team Pink Magic came out to play. They were dominant all night long. Channing Ballou almost able to get back up there and get back into the lead. Daniel Simmons able to run away with it at the end, but I mean, he was dominant the second half of that race. Josh Cully had a crazy fast car all night long. I mean, seeing him finish in second or third should be probably the least surprising thing that we've ever seen, even though he started in 16th. But I mean, all those guys that are sitting in that top 10 had really strong cars tonight, were competitive. We saw Brandon Trush and Kevin Thompson battling back and forth all night long. Andrew St. Cor was really fast tonight as well. And even Chris Simon, I know probably not the night he wanted, finishing at 8th, but still being able to navigate through all the trouble that was going on tonight and get that 8th place finish was really, really strong out of him. But again, I mean, Team Pink Magic did not come to mess around this year. They finished 1 and 2 again, which I think is the second time they've done that this year. And then Josh Cully ruins the 1, 2, 3 and getting that 3rd place spot.
Absolutely, and I do have some drivers coming up here to the booth now. We're going to start with your 3rd place finisher, Josh Cully. As I pull him up here to the booth. Josh, you got a copy of this in the booth?
Hey, I got you.
Hey, man, congratulations on P3 tonight. It was very hard fought. You guys were there battling at the very end, getting that spot over Jamie Knopf. Channing Ballou coming out from nowhere and taking that spot back. Talk to us about the run, especially there at the end, the long run strategy here.
Yeah, we were just we were on the edge like the whole night, so had to be super careful getting on the throttle, and then on the long run, you get tight in the center, so you had to kind of save your stuff. And we got fortunate to finish 3rd. I was stressed out about me even making the top 10 tonight, so come home 3rd, goal accomplished for sure.
Absolutely. You look very fast, very dominant out there for a while tonight. Even at the end, running about the same lap times as the leader had all the way to the end. But the fuel strategy was a question that we had. We saw some guys pit near the end, needing to take some fuel. Was fuel ever a question for you tonight?
No, I think we could make it over 100 laps on a full tank, and then my setup was kind of set up to start out with a full tank. So that halfway break, I just filled it up all the way. I think a couple guys, they tried to cut it close on fuel, and it kind of bit them. But now, if you filled it up, you could make it no problem. 120 laps or something.
Well, we are heading to Kentucky next week at the Kentucky Oval for a 180-mile race. That's going to be 120 laps there. What is your thoughts on Kentucky?
I don't have a whole lot of experience at Kentucky, so um, we'll just see how it goes. Try to take it easy and let everybody kind of wear their stuff out and see if we can make our way up to the front towards the end. And just happy to get a good point night tonight because I was stressing about this track for sure, but it looked like everybody was kind of in the same boat. So it was fun racing with Jamie and those guys, top two guys. Baloo, he was really fast, and I didn't want to push very hard because I didn't want to lose it and spin out and ruin my night just like that. So played it safe a little bit, and it ended up working out. So um, feeling good about Kentucky. I don't know much about it, but we'll go and see what we can do.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident you'll figure it out. I was looking at the stats earlier tonight, and you are actually tied for first place with the average finish for this season, and also in second place by only 30 passes coming into the race, but second place for most quality passes throughout the season. So it looks like you got it figured out pretty well there. But excited to see you next week at Kentucky. You got, I believe, 2 podiums in a row here. You're in third place in the points. Might move you up a little bit more tonight. But before I let you go, any sponsors or shout outs you want to give?
Yeah, I got to thank you guys for broadcasting. I know, a lot of people tune in and watch, so that's pretty cool. Of course, Doghouse Racing, the guys that make it happen, all the administrators. Um, and then I got CRT, small engine repair on the car, and guess just everybody who tunes in and watches, man. It's pretty cool.
Absolutely, man. Well, congratulations again on the third place finish, and looking forward to talking to you next week.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, take care. That's going to be Josh Cully bringing it home in third place. I want to make sure I have that stat right before I say it wrong again. Yeah. Second place in quality passes. First place is going to be Adam Gardner with 49, but Josh Cully with 46 might be moving up into that spot. Definitely first place with the most passes in the league at 115 passes this season, which is crazy.
Good night.
Yeah, second place is 102, and then after that it's 95, 90s, 89. So, I mean, that's just a significant difference. But Kelly having a really good run this year, might move up to second place in the points after tonight. But speaking of second place, we are going to move on to your second place finisher in Channing Ballou as I pull him up here to the booth. You got a copy of this in the booth, Channing?
Yeah, I got you.
Sorry, I think I pulled you up right in the middle of your conversation there.
No, you're good. You're good.
I love when that happens.
Yeah, we're just looking at some tape.
Yeah, let's talk about tape here because we were looking at you running from the mid of the pack to the front, and then you fell back and all the way back to the front again. Talk to us about this run and how you're able to save so much tire to get up to the front and still be very fast at the end.
I don't know if y'all want to know, but I didn't save no tire. I mean, I ended up with a warning at the end. I don't know if y'all could tell, but I had her hung out, and I mean, I was doing all I could do. I mean, I had the best car and just choked. I mean, honestly, on the restart, made a little small adjustment with the car to try to free it up. And it just I don't know. I'd call it a velocity spin. I didn't get in the gas any harder than I had been in the other restarts, and I guess just cold tires right there didn't help. But it was fun. Definitely like the horsepower. The track was really racy. I mean, I think that if we'd have ran a longer race, you would have seen more lines even move further up because it seemed like the rubber really got built up down on the bottom and made it really uh, lose grip in the front end. So it's a good job by iRacing giving us something a little different instead of just matting it off the corner.
Absolutely, man. We did see there maybe like 10 laps to go. I think you might have like a little slip, like very tiny slip, and then your lap time started to fall off. I'm not sure if that's when you might have got the warning or not.
Wasn't no tiny slips. I slipped from the time I fell back. I was sideways off the corner. I was like, I'm just gonna gain as many spots and hope the caution come out, and it never did. But I mean, this car was so strong, I could drive it wrong and be right, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, man. But Yeah, we're going to Kentucky next week. I missed you at Daytona last week, so fell back in the points. Going to move back up a little bit tonight. What are your thoughts on Kentucky?
Yeah, I don't really care for it, but it should be a good race. I mean, I do think these cars are getting better on the sim. I do think everyone's finding a little bit in the setup department to make them faster and better long run. But we'll have to see. I don't really care for the track that much, but it should be good. I mean, I missed Daytona because I was going to something in real life that really, I think I could have won there after watching the race, watching my teammates and how they didn't take control of the race. I kind of figured, they should have just drove to the front and stayed there because it looked like we talked about the last time. It looked like it was just follow the leader and there was no real big runs. So, but Kentucky ought to be decent. I mean, there's some guys here that just because their I rating's low, I know everybody thinks I rating's everything. Their I rating might be low, but they're better than their I rating. They just don't official race. So hopefully that gets across to everybody that wants to get in the sim or get involved. Is I rating's a fictitious number. We get nothing from it. Nobody's paying me because I have a higher I rating. So hopefully everyone doesn't get discouraged by other high I ratings or low. I mean, I've seen the 98's fast. I don't know what happened. It looked like he had a wheel disconnect to me after watching the replay. But he's fast and his I rating's not as high as mine, but I know he's got speed and he's going to be a contender later in the year when he gets some luck going his way.
Yeah, absolutely. Jamie Horn winning the championship last year, winning a lot of races last year too. Just ran into some bad luck, and I think he did. I think we had in the comments tonight that he had some type of crash on his computer, which led to that. But yeah, the whole I rating thing's 100% true because I got smoked by people who had an I rating about 1,500 less than I did the other day on an official race. So that was a lot of fun, very
Yeah.
humbling. but yeah, but before I let you go here, man,
Yeah, I mean,
any sponsors?
look at the 12. Look at the 12. He's got a 5,400 and he finished seventh tonight. So, and we had an 1,800 finish fifth. So anybody can race here. Um, I don't think quantity in league racing is always better, but I do think the quality of this league and how we went green, everybody kind of settled in and figured out their race car and got it down late. But other than that, yeah, I like to thank Jamie and Daniel for putting up with me bitching after after I spun. I didn't bitch too much, but I was a little disappointed. But um, they're always fun to race with. I just got to teach Jamie how to run the right line at Richmond.
Absolutely, man. Anybody, do you have any other sponsor shouts you want to give before I let you go here?
Yeah, man. Everybody needs to check out Pink Magic Tire Prep. As always, call Jamie Knapp. Check him out on Facebook. Check out Higgy's House of Power. He builds all my engines for our go karting adventures. He's a great guy out of Virginia. He always helps me a lot. Other than that, Premier Racing Chassis, but and YouTube for hopefully I put on a show. I mean, ultimately that's what I was thinking in my head the whole time is maybe I'm putting on a show for these broadcasters to get the fans fired up because
Absolutely.
that's what I'm here for. Put on a
Absolutely.
show.
Yeah, man, we love it. We love seeing you out here driving from the front to the back, making passes, making things a little bit interesting for us, and giving us some content to show to the guys out here and the fans and everybody watching at home. Definitely putting on a good show this whole season. Got 2 race wins under your belt, almost another one here tonight. But looking forward to talking to you next week at Kentucky.
Yeah, man. Hey, you know what they say? Nothing wrong with silver.
Nothing wrong with silver. That's perfect, man. All right. Well, congratulations again on second place, and I hope you have a great rest of your night, man.
You too, man. See ya.
Yep. That's going to be Channing Blue finishing in second place. Coming up next, I do have your race winner in Daniel Simmons. Daniel, you got a copy of this in the booth?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, congratulations on P1 tonight. Been chasing it all season long, knocking on that door, finally getting it done here tonight. Talk to us about this race car you had and the run over the course of this race.
Yeah, it was good. Like I said, I got to thank Jamie and Channing for helping me out with the setup and all. I don't know. Thought I threw it away right there at the at the start of the race. I think it was the 13. I got into him and kind of spun both of us, so kind of had to pit for fix some damage and come from the back. So yeah, I was shooting for trying to get back to the top 5, hopefully finishing top 5, but kind of worked out a little bit better than that.
Absolutely, man. At the very end there, too, we're looking at lap times over the course of the race and still able to pull away from the guys behind you. Were you find yourself saving tire out there at all, or just did you have a point where you just decided to punch it?
No. When Channing got loose coming up off of 2, I knew if he was probably going to get back to me, so it's kind of just trying to wrap the bottom, save tire, and hopefully have a shot when he gets there. It's me and him on the same tire cycle right there. It ain't gonna. He's gonna get me every time. So that was my only play, was to kind of keep tires up under it. I mean, he got to second. He started chasing me down there, but I think he burned his stuff up there a little bit later in the run and was able to kind of start pulling back off from him.
Absolutely. Well, we're heading to Kentucky next week. I've asked the other 2 drivers their thoughts on Kentucky. Now, what is your thoughts on Kentucky, and what are you looking forward to bring there?
I like Kentucky. I like it better than I do Richmond for sure. So hopefully it'll be good to us, and we'll have a good setup there.
Absolutely. Well, man, congratulations again on P1. Before I let you go, any sponsors or shout outs you want to give?
Yeah, like I say, I gotta thank Jamie and Channing. Like I say, man, they do a lot getting me up to speed every week. Going from running no laps and them guys kind of giving me feedback. They get to race some during the week, and if it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't even crack the top 10. So big shout out to them.
Yes, sir. Well, again, congratulations on P1, picking up that first win of the season. Looking forward to seeing you get some more over the course of the season and getting higher up there in the points as we approach almost midway of the season. But hoping to talk to you more next week at Kentucky.
Yes, sounds good. Thank y'all.
All right, have a good night.
Take care, man.
Y'all too.
That is going to be Daniel Simmons bringing it home tonight in first place. First win for him of the season is going to be the 3rd win for that Pink Magic team this season. The only one left, Jamie Knapp, chasing down, trying to get that win so that all 3 of them can get a win in the Group 6 Cup Series, but I think that he'll get that pretty soon. Been knocking on the door, as we said earlier. Just ran into a little bit of bad luck earlier on this season when he had the opportunities to secure the win, but I think Jamie Knott's a guy you got to look out for too. Probably going to pick up a win here very soon.
Yeah, 100%. Like he said, it's again, we talk about how it's so funny. There's some guys that put in hours and hours of work throughout the week. There's other guys who have teammates that put in hours and hours throughout the week, and it's just it kind of shows. I loved what Channing was saying there, where like, don't let iRig discourage you for being able to get out there and get competitive. There's some tracks that make a lot of sense to guys and other tracks that don't, and you can go out there and be competitive with the best of them. I really do think this is one of the best and most competitive leagues that is out there, and you have the widest range of iRating in this thing, pretty much wherever. And so I really like what he was saying there, and just encourage everybody, if you haven't gotten behind the wheel and you're interested in it, to absolutely go do it. I mean, you can put the work in, and you can get out there, be competitive, and I think it went to show tonight. Like even what Daniel was saying, Channing probably had the best car here tonight, but at the end of the day, Daniel Simmons is the one bringing it home. You have all sorts of different factors coming in. Channing almost spun it there, and then that allowed Daniel to pull away. Jamie Horn had a crazy fast car here tonight. We saw him even using the high lane earlier on to make passes, and then he had the computer crash. There's just so many different things that go into it. So just a really fun race to watch. Congratulations again to our top 3 for getting it done here tonight, and looking forward to seeing what they're able to put out at Kentucky next week. I know we're kind of a mixed bag there of opinions on Kentucky. You got one guy that was said don't really know it, one other guy that kind of doesn't like it, and then Daniel who's excited to go there. So it's gonna be exciting to see.
Absolutely, and we will be at Kentucky next week. Same place, same time, 7:45 Eastern time. right here on Doghouse Racing TV on YouTube. Going to be a fun one there. Kentucky drives a little bit, especially off the corners, like a Richmond almost, with a very wide exit, getting into the throttle a little bit early. Tire wear is going to be a little bit funny there as well, but I think it's going to be a good time. Excited for that one. Going to have 120 laps at Kentucky next week on March 5th. Again, 7:45 Eastern Standard Time. Hope to see you there. Thank you again for hanging out with us tonight and spending your Thursday night with us. I know there's other things you could be doing, and thank you for choosing us to spend time with. But I think that is going to be it for us here at Richmond tonight. I have been John Smith, my co-host of your Hunter Folly. Hoping to see everybody next week, and I hope everybody has a safe week. And yeah, we'll see you then. So the last time tonight, I've been John.
And I've been Hunter.
We will see you guys next time.
Take care, everybody. Thompson and St. Cyr side by side, racing it out. Who has the faster car to finish this thing? St. Cyr is gonna bring it home in first. What a race at the end of that thing. Caution, caution, caution. Come around the corner. Jamie Horn is going to be your winner here at the Mars Properties 200.